So, you're thinking about diving into Brandon Sanderson's epic fantasy, Mistborn, The Final Empire. Well, you've come to the right place. This is your completely spoiler-free guide to help you figure out if this incredible book is going to be your next obsession.
Right out of the gate, this book asks a question that just changes everything. We've all read the story about the Chosen One who saves the world, right? Well, Mistborn takes that idea and totally flips it on its head. This isn't a story about stopping the evil lord. It's a story that takes place 1,000 years after he already won.
So, here's what we're going to do in this explainer. We're going to break down the world, the absolutely fantastic magic system, the characters you'll be rooting for, and the basic story setup. By the end, you'll know for sure if this is the next book for you.
Okay, let's kick things off with the big picture. What kind of experience are you really signing up for with this book?
This is what makes Mistborn so incredibly cool. It's a genre mashup. You've got all the hallmarks of a huge epic fantasy. Deep world building, massive stakes, the whole 9 yards. But it's actually built like a heist story. Seriously, think Ocean's 11, but instead of robbing a casino, the crew is planning to overthrow an immortal god. It's got that tight, thrilling plot with a team of specialists, and it's just brilliant.
And the magic they use, it's called allomancy. Now, this isn't some vague, mysterious force. It's a hard magic system, meaning it has very clear rules. Basically, certain people can swallow flakes of metal, and their bodies can burn that metal to get a specific power. For example, burning iron lets you pull on other metals. Pewter makes you super strong, and tin cranks up all your senses. The key thing here is that magic is a tool. It can be understood, it can be countered, and, most importantly, it can run out. That makes every magical fight super tense.
Okay, so let's talk about the world where all this goes down. And just a heads up, it's a pretty grim place. Welcome to the Final Empire. And when they say final, they really mean it. The entire continent is ruled by just one guy, the Lord Ruler. For 1,000 years, he's been an immortal, all-powerful king. There are no other countries, no rival powers, nothing. There is only the Empire. Even the planet itself just feels wrong. During the day, the sun is this weird blood-red color, and ash is constantly falling from the sky, covering everything in a layer of gray soot. But at night, things get even creepier. These thick, mysterious mists roll in and blanket everything. They're so dangerous that pretty much everyone locks their doors and just waits for the sun to come up.
And this is Luthadel, the heart of it all. It's a city of soaring Gothic spires for the rich and powerful, right next to grimy, ash-covered streets for everyone else. It's where the Lord Ruler has his palace, and it's where the nobility throw their lavish parties. And you guessed it, it's the target of our heist.
Society here is split right down the middle, no gray area. You've got the nobility, they live in extreme luxury, they host parties, they play political games, and they often have elementic powers. And then you have the ska. They're the enslaved class. They're treated as property, living and dying in brutal conditions. This massive, horrible injustice is the engine that drives the entire story.
So, in a world this oppressive, who would be crazy enough to actually try and fight back? Well, let's meet the core of our unlikely crew.
Our main viewpoint character is Vin. She's a scass street kid who has survived her whole life by being invisible and trusting absolutely no one. She's wary, she's resourceful, and she's way tougher than she looks. Her entire life gets turned on its head when she discovers she has allomancy, a power that's supposed to be only for the nobility. Suddenly, the girl who is an expert at not being seen becomes one of the most powerful and hunted people in the entire empire.
And then you have Kelsier. This guy is a living legend. He's the most famous thief in the Empire and the only person to ever survive the pits of Hathsin, the Lord Ruler's most brutal prison. He is charming, brilliant, and almost pathologically optimistic. He's always smiling, but that smile hides a burning hatred for the Empire and its god. Kelsier is the mastermind, the leader, the guy with the impossible plan. And rounding out our main perspectives is Sazed. He's a terrace steward, which means he's been trained to be the perfect servant, but that's just a cover. He's also a keeper, part of a secret group whose mission is to find and memorize all the lost religions of the world, the ones the Lord Ruler tried to wipe from history. Sazed is basically a walking, talking library of a forgotten past, and he provides this incredible sense of depth and history to the story.
All right, so we've got our broken world and our unlikely heroes. So, what exactly is this impossible job they're trying to pull off?
This is the beauty of the plan. Kelsier isn't just trying to start a chaotic rebellion. He's planning a precise heist. He's gathered a crew of specialists, allomancers who are experts in their fields, and their goal is crystal clear.
They're not just trying to weaken the empire, they're going to bring the whole thing crashing down by doing the one thing everyone thinks is impossible: killing the Lord Ruler himself. But of course, it's never that simple. As the crew gets deeper into their plan, old secrets start to surface. Whispers about that ancient prophecy, the one that failed 1,000 years ago, start to become more and more relevant. They soon realize they're not just fighting a tyrant. They're caught up in a much older, much bigger secret history. And suddenly, the stakes aren't just about freedom. They're about the fate of the entire world.
Okay, so you've got the whole setup, but the real question is, what does it actually feel like to read this book? Let's do what I call the bookstore test. Everything you'd need to know to decide if you want to take it home.
First up, the pacing is pretty quick, and it really kicks into high gear once the heist is in motion. The world is definitely complex, but don't worry, Sanderson is a master at introducing these big ideas in a way that's super easy to follow. You're never going to feel lost. Now, there is a lot of violence, but it's more like an action movie. It's tactical and clever, not just gory for the sake of it. The book is definitely plot-driven, but the real emotional punch comes from the characters, especially Vin's journey from a scared kid into something more. And here's a big one. While it is the first book of a trilogy, it tells a complete story with a very, very satisfying ending. No crazy cliffhangers. So if you're someone who loves clever magic systems with clear rules, underdog stories, and fantasy that reads like a thriller, this is absolutely for you. And all of this leaves you with one final haunting question. I mean, it's one thing to fight a revolution, to tear down a god king and shatter an empire that stood for a millennium. But what comes next? What do you do the day after you win? In a world that has only ever known tyranny, what does freedom even look like? And that's a question worth reading to find out.